Hi guys, this is a little video tour of my studio. I wanted a chance today to show you guys a couple of things, the way I organize them. So come on in. Here's my little studio space. I love it. I'm so thankful to have it. It isn't anything separate or grand, but it's just what I need. It's basically a small bedroom area in our house. And I have a large work table, which is a table that my great-grandfather made. It's been passed down through the family. I just love it. I love the flat surface. I have a cover over it, a board that's covered with sort of red vinyl to protect the table itself and just give me an area that I can work on. It's a rough wooden farm table, which I adore. Someday when I can trust the kids, we may have it as an actual dining room table, but right now it's all mine. So come on in. I've got stuff everywhere because I'm in the middle of doing some work. For right now, I'm always changing things, but for right now I have my computer area right here in my work area as well. Normally I have my cutting mat over there. I've got things kind of handy so that when I sit down in my chair, things that I use a lot are within easy reach. I have some of these pull-out clear drawers that hold all of my markers, pens, colored pencils, all those types of things. I have a jar here that's some things that I use really often, glue sticks, pens that I'm using right now. They're right there handy. I have this great little spinning cart that I've had for quite a while. Oh, if I ever had to replace this, I'd probably never find anything quite like it. Maybe I would. But it holds all kinds of office supply things, but I use it to have tools, non-cutting tools. These are cutting tools like an X-Acto knife and scissors, pencils, my ruler's up at the top, and it's got bulldog clips and my letter opener and just all kinds of things there that are handy that I really do use every day. My printer's right here. And then, pardon me, just to the left of my chair I have a little area that has another drawer that has post-it notes, stickers, notepads, all those kinds of things. And next to it is all my journals that I'm currently working in. Everything from pieces of paper that I use, put in notebooks. There's the notebook. These are more your art kind of sketchbooks, books I've made, altered books, little books. And then, of course, I have just great fun and inspirational things around. And then in the drawer underneath that, I have photography things. It's where I keep my camera, the battery for it, all those kinds of things go in that drawer. And below that, I have my bookbinding things. I have a container in there that has, it's kind of a mess, but I could just show it to you. It's all the things kind of easy reach. Some of the things I keep in Ziploc bags to keep them all together. Like this is my bag of all my different hole punches. This is the box that has sort of an organized mess, you know. I mean, it's not la-di-da, but it works. So here's my box that I can just take out of here, and it has all my bookbinding thread, needles, all that kind of stuff in it. So my book press, my punching template, all that stuff's in there. And then in the bottom I have some of the big things like large stapler, my Bind It All that does the spiral bindings, that kind of thing's down there. Then next to it I have this little tower that has all of my stamps and stamp making things in it. Stencils, and then also the top drawer has other ways I would do letters, like the Dymo tape and stickers and that kind of thing in it. On top of it, which is kind of a mess because I got a lot of stuff going right now, but this is a really big book that I'm working in as an art journal, and on top of it, it's this is my fancy pressing station. On top of it is actually a metal shelf section that comes out, and I use it because it's just one nice big firm area. So underneath here I can just stick things that maybe are wrapped in wax paper and let them press. And normally it doesn't have all that stuff on top of it, but that's things I'm working on right now. I need to straighten up. Okay, and then next to it, I'm gonna make a lovely patchwork on top of this fabric someday, but I haven't gotten to that yet. Gotta have more projects. This is a wonderful thing that I have from an office that I worked in. My great boss, when we moved offices, let me have this. And it is a paper or form kind of cabinet. And it's metal, but it's not that heavy, really. I can slide it around the room when I move. But this left-hand side, I have all kinds of things like cardstock, envelopes, that kind of thing. And then on the left-hand side is all my just printer kind of weight paper. And transparencies, labels, all that kind of stuff. So that gets stocked in there. And let me go back here for just a second. One of the main things I wanted to show you guys is underneath my table. What I have is the plastic storage containers. How big are these? What size they're called. But these are the inexpensive kind of containers you can buy. And I have two on either side of where my legs would go. Again, a little bit of a mess, but there's a system to it. So this is box tops, that little bits of text. These are things that I've cut out of magazines. And underneath it, I'm a little more organized. These are file folders, which just stand up in here and fit great. So this is sort of my image morgue. I filed it different ways along as I have gone, but I've really kind of gone to filing most things by color. That's how I'm usually looking for an image, because it's that color. Or then I do have some categories, like these are envelopes that I've saved because of the pattern. These are maps that I've saved. And then in the back I have books and things that I'm cutting up for the text. And there are other categories. But I just separate them in things that really work for me and what I'm looking for when I go to grab something collage-wise. For me, I'd rather not keep the whole magazine around. I want to go through and cut out the things that I like. Underneath it is a tub that I don't use quite as much, but it has different kinds of paper in it, like tissue paper, sewing pattern tissue paper, that kind of thing, which I do use, but not as often. So that's why this tub is on the top. Let me back up just a little bit. So I can just scoot it out from under the desk and open it up and work on it and have it there. And then when I'm done, it slides. Okay, then, so on the other side of my desk area where I sit down, I have two more boxes, just like the others, but these hold paper, decorative paper. So it's not collage items like images or magazine images, colors. This is papers that I would use for everything from collage to bookbinding, mail art, that kind of thing. So this is the top tub that has anything basically smaller than a postcard. I'd say some things have gotten in here that are bigger than that, but that's kind of my general guideline that I go by, because these are small bits that I would cut up, tear, use bits of them for collage, that kind of thing. Not really the box I'd be going for pages for books or that type of thing. So I try to keep it in here. It's kind of stacked up vertically so that I can leaf through it. It is about time to go through, which I do occasionally, and pick out things that I'm tired of them. You know, I'm probably really not going to use them. So I don't want to get this too junked up, and it's kind of that point again that I need to go through and sort through that. One thing I do to help alleviate that, these are some boxes that are on the top, just like the other one. So this this is like a flat that cans would come in the store. This is some papers that I have particularly pulled out that I really like. The colors, textures. So it's usually kind of my first go-to for collage stuff. So if it hasn't made it into that box, probably really kind of need to go through that stuff. This is one I keep that's even smaller, and it's just where the really little teeny tiny bits or long strips kind of migrate there. And this is a box that I have added that's some strips of book paper or text from books that I cut up, and I've showed those on the blog before that I decorated and have been using those in collage. So then ideally this fairly heavy little box here sits on the top, and since it's, you know, little pieces, I'm not really too worried about that getting smushed. I'm a little more careful with some of my other papers. And then the box underneath it, it's anything bigger than a postcard and still fits in the box. So like 12 by 12 kind of sheets of paper. Has some things like scrapbooking paper, or 8.5 by 11, you know, sheets of different things that I don't have multiples of, and that kind of thing. So these are things that I might look here for pages in sort of a junk journal, you know, journal that's not going to have the same pieces of paper for every page in it. So again, they, oh, it's a little heavier, but they slide right back under the disc. And I have some other boxes and things on the other side that are projects, that kind of thing. So that was the main thing that I wanted to show you guys today. But just some of the other storage, I really have tried to go through things over a period of time. There's a lot of different things that I've, you know, like to do. But I really have tried to narrow it down to pretty much everything that's in my studio now. I really do use. I have one of these sets of drawers over here. I really should have done this on a day when it was clean and not projects everywhere, but hey, real life. So this drawer, it has jewelry making, beads, that kind of thing. I don't do that every day, but every so often I really enjoy doing that. My daughter likes to do that with me. You know, just make some things that are new and unique for yourself. So it's something we just do for fun. So that's about probably the least used thing. This is a rather tall tower of the 12 by 12 scrapbooking boxes. I decided to invest in those. I was using the box can bottoms, flats, those things. But they're all different sizes, and they don't have a lid on them, and I still use them for some things to organize, but this is stuff that generally it's projects that I work on daily or weekly, that kind of thing. So things for particular journals, groups that I'm involved in, you know, things that I really do get in those, and I try not to keep necessarily supplies in there unless they're really specific to that thing. But it might be the journal, you know, so this is specific things that I need to get out. But that's very helpful, because then I just put the lid back on the box and stick it over there. And it kind of keeps the table clean. These drawers, kind of big drawers, most of those are, and they have all of my things. Like this stack is paint, and this stack is tapes and glues and all that kind of thing. And there's my travel art bag to grab. So the only other really art studio thing I've showed before in other posts, but this is up on top of the big cabinet. that has the 8.5 by 11 paper in it is my drying rack. And I keep the less child-friendly cutting boards and paper cutters, that kind of thing up there, kind of out of their reach, or just to be left out. So that's pretty much it, except so my table's kind of divided into zones, and this pretty much third of the table is my computer and work area. I would sit down here to cut and to collage, to sew a book. The end of the table, it gets cleaned off when the project gets packed up. But it is a bigger area where I can spread out scrap paper, or here I'm doing some sewing type things. I have a little pressing board for, you know, just small things. So all that kind of stuff's out there. And then back on the other side behind my computer, it's a little tight, but it lets me have my sewing machine out all the time. And then there's sewing stuff, the typewriter, the big drawers back behind it. That's other miscellaneous stuff that I really do use, but I probably need to go through that next and try and thin some things down. And then on top of it, which is kind of a little junky too, inside there, that's actually my little photo booth. And I've just got some stuff sitting there because I'm doing this crazy project. So when this gets kind of cleaned up, things won't be quite that way. And then I really enjoy having artwork. Some things of mine, but a lot of things I've really kind of made an effort here lately to acquire some things from friends and fellow artists. I had more of that kind of thing in college. We would swap things, and I just love having other people's things around. So there's my bookshelf and my comfy chair and more friends' artwork. And this is horrible to get a picture of. I have tried so many times, but I love it. It's right up near the ceiling, and it's like an IKEA wire curtain line. I use it. I have it up there, and it holds my mail art and stuff. So I love that about it. But it's just not easy to get a picture of it. So I'm so glad that you all came by today to get a look at my messy studio. I'm glad just to show you that. I hope maybe something sparked a little idea for you to carve out some little space or organize things where they're accessible to you. And I hope you'll join me again sometime soon. Thanks for coming. Bye.